Mayflom here, and if you check out my Scan and Cut playlist on YouTube, there's a lot of different videos, and one of them is about how to trick the Scan and Cut into cutting out a stamp that it doesn't want to recognize. Now, in this case, it's not that I want to trick it, it's that I only want it to do certain things, and I know exactly what I want it to do. So instead of playing around with the settings and trying to get it to recognize exactly what I want, I took a clear acetate sheet here and set it over. And by the way, I did not do this on the machine, I did this on the table. Set it down and I traced where I'm wanting this to cut. And then I'm going to just place this on a white sheet of paper, and I'm going to take a little bit of tape because I'm trying to have it on that white paper right at the top there. And then we're going to go ahead and scan it in, and we're going to scan it as a scan to cut because we're not actually wanting it to cut out. Whoops. We're wanting it to create a cut file. And black and white grayscale mode should be fine. We push the start button. Once this has scanned in, we're going to select this mode here because all we want is for it to cut the simple outline. And I'm also going to zoom in here, and I'm going to zoom in here because I don't want any little bits and pieces outside of that area picking up. Plus, I don't want the file size to be the full 12 inches. And then I'm going to save it, and I'm going to save it to my machine here, although you do have several options. And once this is done, we're ready to cut it out for real and create our file. Starting from the home screen, we're going to go in here into Pattern, Saved Data, and it's on our machine. And there it is. There's what I'm looking for, and I'm going to say OK. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is push this button up at the top, and I'm going to press, let's see. Nope, it is one cut file, so we have nothing to do here. We don't have to unify this or anything. Now, where exactly do I need this? That's where the next part comes in. We're going to hit this button here, which will scan our mat. And with the mat scan, I can get a pretty good visual here of where we're going. Now, this is going to be a situation where I want to go in here and edit by just slightly changing where I've got that. That should actually be just fine. I'm going to say OK, and I'm going to say OK, and I'm going to add. I'm going to go in here to the basic shapes. I'm just grabbing a square, although you know what would be fun is a square with rounded corners, and set it. I'm going to pull it over here, just slightly offset. Let's see, probably about like so. And then I'm going to go in here and I'm going to push this button here because I want to independently fix the width the way I want it. And I'll just need to move this over into position, and then the height the way I want it. And I'm not sure if it'll actually end up, let's see. No, it won't actually need to be an exact square. It'll actually be a rectangle. And then I'm going to adjust this to where I think I like it and say OK, OK, and that's what our card's going to look like. Now, that's a little too narrow on the bottom because I am going to be making a shaker card. That's going to be a little too narrow. So, oh, and I see what I did there. Look what I can do here. If I push this X button, it'll cancel what I was doing. So I can go back in and push this button first so that I just adjust the height, and we actually looks like I am going to end up as a square. Let's see. I'm going to want to adjust this down just a bit. That looks good, guys. Okay, and I'm going to say okay. I like how that looks on there. I'm going to say okay, and we are going to cut this out of the paper. So I've got it cut out here, and you can see it's not perfect, and it's got a rough edge on the middle, but that's what I was going for, guys. That's what I wanted. So I've got it cut out here, and I've also got some double-sided tape on the back, and I stuck a couple of sentiment stickers with staples on here. Now all I need to do, I'm going to make a faux shaker box. I don't actually want to go through the whole cut out the acetate and this and that. actually really like the look of a faux shaker box because I can position the little bits and pieces and make them all pretty just the way I want them. And for me, that's just my preference. So I do sometimes do the traditional ones, but what I've got here is another second piece. So just cut out of the 5.85, and I will mount this onto a blank card. I'll make an actual blank card for it, or depending on how it turns out, I may just write my sentiments on the back. And you may notice, it's a little off on a few spots. What I ended up doing is I ended up cutting a second one that was just like 1/10 of an inch smaller, just so that everything would fit a little bit better. Now all we have to do is add a little liquid adhesive and start adding some fun embellishments. And what I like to do for this is just pick the couple of areas here where I want, and I'll pick a couple of spots to scatter, and then pick a little bit here, and then just a few more spots. And then I'm also going to put in, so I'll bring in embellishments, then I'm also going to put a few little drops of gold glitter glue because that's kind of fun. And now I'll get some embellishments out. All right, so I threw down a button and a couple other little doodads here. I'm going to add a couple more little buttons. I think one will fit there. I got one there. And what I can do here with the little bits and pieces, I'm shaking it around to see if everything's stuck. Everything is stuck. And then if there's any areas where I have glue but nothing stuck there, I'll just add that. And then I'm going to come in, and I see a couple spots actually that maybe a little more would be good. So I've got some green sequin mix here. I'll add a little bit of that in there. And when that glue dries, guys, it's going to be clear, so we're not going to worry about that. And then I like the pop of gold. I feel like that adds a fun little touch. So I'm going to come in here and just sprinkle some gold. And what I love about this is it gives me that look of, whoops, got stuck on myself there. Gives me the look of the shaker, but I didn't have to actually build it up perfectly. I would have had to perfectly align everything as far as my tape strips go. I didn't have to worry about that. I didn't have to worry about cutting more acetate for it. I didn't have to worry about making it deep enough to fit like the buttons and things. So I love the dimension of this, and this is going to be a great first day of school card. I'm just debating if I want to run a line around or not. I'm thinking not. I'm thinking I'm good with it as it is, although I do have some red glitter glue. So let me go ahead and do that because I think red would look really cute. And I'm going to put a few little droplets of red in here. Not a lot, guys, not a lot, just a few little bits and pieces. And that's another thing that if this was a traditional instead of a faux shaker, wouldn't have been able to do exactly. And then I'm going to go really fast twice around. Okay, because I don't necessarily, 3 times around. I don't necessarily want it to look really set or really overdone. I love it. I love it. And I think this is going to be a great back to school present. I'm going to put a little gift card with it, either inside the card or if I end up just leaving it as a flat card. I haven't decided that yet. So if I end up leaving it as a flat card, then what I will do is just create, and I can't flip it over, so let's, on the back side, what I'll do is just take some cardstock and create a little pocket and tuck it inside. That would work as well. I hope you have enjoyed this look at what my ScanNcut can do, combined with a little bit of a workaround to kind of speed the project up. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Any requests, let me know that as well. I'll see you next time.